and welcome back to the channel. So today we're doing something a little different, and I'm actually gonna give you my opinion again. Maybe not that different, but yeah, today we're talking about So today we're talking about dermatologists, and I've always been surrounded by dermatologists as long as I remember because if you don't know, I have moderate to severe acne and I've had it since I was about 11. There's actually a video where I explain my whole acne journey, but long story short, I've had acne since I was 11, and so I was always surrounded by dermatologists, and I was always changing them because I was never happy with them. And here begins my rant. So, I'm not the biggest fan of dermatologists, and that is based on my experience, of course. So, I've been to a lot of them, and my general experience was kind of all the same, which is horrible. And I don't know if this is a general, like, worldwide thing, but I do know that in Portugal this happens a lot. So I've been to a lot of them, and the general first impression is always the same. They don't give a shit. They honestly don't give a shit about acne, and there are very rare exceptions to this in my experience, and it's just so frustrating. They just treat acne like an aesthetic problem. Like, for them, it's not a skin concern as would be psoriasis or eczema. It's acne. You'll grow out of it. It's acne. It's just a pimple. You can cover it up. Everybody has them. No. No. When your face is covered in acne, it is no longer an aesthetic issue. It's something you have to learn to deal with, and it's sometimes very actually physically painful. Like, when I'm at my worst, I am so bothered by it. It's like having a sore throat because it's always there. It's always bothering me. When I'm talking, when I'm articulating, when I'm drinking, when I'm eating, it's always there, and they're very painful. They're very annoying. What is horrible about that is that they don't even take a minute. When I go to a new dermatologist, they don't even take a minute to understand what's happening to you. They don't try to get to the origin of your acne. Most of them just brush it off and prescribe you antibiotics. And you know my feelings about antibiotics. They're horrible. They work while you're taking them, and then when you stop taking them, the acne comes back. If it's a persistent issue, it will come back, and it will probably come back worse because you're killing your defenses as well. When you take antibiotics, you kill the bad bacteria, but you also kill the good bacteria, which is trying to help. So in my experience, taking antibiotics is not the solution for acne. And not all of us grow out of our acne, so that's a thing that they should stop saying, because it's been 12 years, going on 13, not going away. And even for doctors that try to take it a step further and recommend you Accutane, it's a good treatment. It has all of the downside effects, and I go through all of that in my video about acne, so I'm not going to get into that right now. But the last time I was on Accutane, I sat down in a new dermatologist's office for like 2 minutes. He asked me a couple of questions, and then he prescribed me the Accutane, and that was it. And if you've been on Accutane, and if you've ever researched it, or there are a lot of things to consider when you're taking Accutane. That you have to explain the side effects, you have to get your exams, you got to so many things that are around the bubble that is Accutane. And I was in that office for literally 5 minutes before he brushed me off with a prescription for Accutane, and then a whole list of products to use. And that's where I want to get next. Even if you don't have acne, dermatologists, at least in Portugal, are very archaic. And what I mean by this is that they are still recommending products that are astonishingly bad for your skin. And almost every person that comes to me asking for recommendations to what to do to their skin routine so that they can get their skin to behave better, the main thing that happens in these people's routines that sometimes are prescribed by doctors or recommended at pharmacies is that they're very, very, very drying, they're very astringent, they're very irritating, and that's not good for all skin types. Like, for example, one thing that I always say is remove your sulfates. And almost every single cleansing product for oily skin types and acne in your pharmacy will have sulfates. There are very few exceptions to this. And that is horrible because skin should be treated in a good way. You should not have to harm it to treat it. And one thing that I learned from my whole journey with skincare is that gentle is better, especially if you have a sensitive skin, which I think is another thing that derms don't really consider, is that you may have acne, but do they even take a second to realize what type of skin yours is behind the acne? Because most skin types that have acne are oily or combination. But there are also people with acne that have dry skin. And if you tell a person with dry skin to cleanse their skin with a cleanser that is high on sulfates, it will just make matters so much worse. And if you have a person with sensitive skin, that is my case, I never got along with products that the dermatologist recommend for me because my skin is so sensitive, it will really act up, and they didn't even take a second to analyze it. And I'm a person that's really, really fair, and you look at my skin and you can see that it's very, very thin and that is probably very sensitive. I kid you not, like 2 years ago, I went into the dermatologist's office and it wasn't even to talk about my acne. So I have a lot of moles, especially on my back. I have about 50 or even more. So I try to get a checkup annually because I'm very, very scared of skin cancer. I scheduled an appointment here and I entered his office. I was like, I want to check out my moles. He was like, hey, take off your shirt. I basically did this. And yeah, I have a dress underneath. It's part of my outfit. Okay, so I basically did this. And he was like, I'm done, you're okay. How could you even know that? It was like 2 seconds at the most. How could he look at my moles for 2 seconds from afar and tell me you don't have anything to worry about? I was really perplexed, and and then I casually asked about my acne. I was like, you know what? It's summer. I can't really treat acne in the summer, so, just put some creams on it. And the last thing I think is a very archaic notion as well, just to pair up with the very drying, irritating, astringent products and mattifying products, is that they try to tell you that everything you have to use has to be oil-free, which I'm completely against. I mean, it's like the polar opposite of what I think. I think oils are so good for acne, so good for oily skin, as long as they are oils for that specific skin type and skin concern. I mean, oils have done great things for my skin and great things for my acne, and I can't ever recommend a person not to use oils at all, because I don't even think a person that has acne, the acne always gets patchy, always gets dry, always gets itchy. The skin ends up being dehydrated some of the time, so to banish oils completely from your routine is kind of insane. It's literally, it doesn't make any sense. When you put oil on your oily skin, you can actually try and compensate the sebum production. It's true. Google it. And I like to end this video on a positive note, so I am going to end it. You don't always have to listen to a dermatologist, but they do sometimes have some pearls of wisdom. So yes, they're always boasting about SPF, and that I agree with. You should always use SPF like every single day. Even if it's not really sunny outside, even if it's cloudy, even if you don't feel any hotness or your skin burning, you should always use SPF every single day. It's so much helpful, not only long term because you know that your skin ages faster when you don't protect it from the sun, but also short term. I mean, it helps acne heal faster, and also you know that if you have acne and you don't protect your face, and if your spots are in the sun a lot, they will turn a brownish shade, and then they're really hard to get rid of. Anyway, this was a bit of a rant, and I hope I made it somehow interesting and informative. So if you like this video or this type of video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about acne, any questions about skincare, any questions about products, or if you need recommendations, hit me up. You know where I'm at. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, Snapchat, And where am I also at? I'm also on Instagram, though that is harder to reach me. But and you can also send me an email or anything. I'm always around. So subscribe to the channel for more info. And I'll be back next week, Sunday, as always. And I'll see you there. Bye.